Good morning, afternoon, and evening, Hollow Knight community. We are here today for a very, very exciting match as yet another part of our Hollow Knight Bingo True and Jesus Christ, Blackout True Ending Randomizer Tournament. We are here today to see a match between Aiden and Volley and Homothety and Pob, four of the most experienced and talented players in our community, and we are playing with the very absurd gimmicks of map area and more doors. My name is Herm, and I'm privileged to be on the microphone, joined today by my commentating partner, Masso.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm extremely excited for these gimmicks. Map
Oh my
areas.
goodness gracious.
Map area is one of my favorite gimmicks in general, and more doors is just going to make everything 20 times sillier.
Yep.
So,
Adding
I
what, is it 31 keys to the map for us to try and grab?
I don't know exactly how many, but that sounds about right.
Yes. I
All
think that
right.
it is going to be a very good match.
All right. Our runners are all starting in Ancestral Mound just because we don't want either member of the team just getting stuck immediately. That very much can happen with map area rando. But our runners should be starting off momentarily.
That is very exciting to hear. I mean, it's crazy even with everything on the board going on and being so crazy. Um, all the gimmicks being so crazy. I mean, you almost hesitate to even think about the board. But in these early moments, Mass, I would be interested to hear your thoughts. What goals stand out to you here? Obviously, it's all a little bit different with map area rando, but what are you looking at?
I'm looking at, I would say for goals, I'm a little less interested in paying attention to those and more interested in paying attention to, okay, how do I get to certain areas? Kingdom's
Yeah,
Edge, I find, is one of the biggest, and Resting Grounds is also extremely important.
yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Um, Yeah, especially because so many of these goals can be determined. They could be right next door, or they could be who knows how many sets of transitions away. Um, so it will definitely be up to see. And then with more doors, I mean, getting to some of these areas is going to be even more difficult. So definitely going to be a fun ride. I think we can see Homothety here getting started on those crossroads grubs. Um, Everybody else milling about and doing their checks.
And King Station Stag on the way to Moloch.
Oh, that is very interesting and represents the first part of this rando gradually breaking my brain. Um, that is very nice. Normally you look at that, oh, nice white fragment. Normally you look at that and think, ah, white right side access, but that's not really how we operate. We're seeing a Dream Nail, Fragile Heart, and a Distant Village Stag at very high grubs. But the Dream Nail and Fragile Heart are fairly reasonable.
Yeah, I believe there's a Pale Ore there as well, and with two Pale Ore on the board, that might come into play. I don't think it's particularly likely, but it could happen.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a big pickup to have. Crystal Heart, we see both teams getting it at almost exactly the same time. That is just such a useful tool for getting around parts of the map. And also, it's been said to me once, and I say it every time I'm on commentary, a great way to see how well the runners know the map. And for these four, it's going to be pretty well. We should be seeing some pretty technically employed C dashes here, which will be pleasant to watch.
Absolutely. These are four of the most experienced runners in the community. And Isma's tier at Moloch.
Yep, that's big as well. Thankfully, Homothety heading in there right now, so we're going to remain pretty much equal on progression um, in these early stages. Um, Yeah, chat noting importantly, Chris noting that that does open a transition to us as well, which is important.
Yes. Checking transitions is just as important as checking items in map area, because you might have to go through a transition to get to an area.
Yeah,
And
that is an astute observation.
we're seeing the green path behind MMC transition is where Crystal Peak normally is. Oh, and hi, Lurian.
Hi,
Uh,
Lurian. Yeah,
Immediate
that's gonna make
infection.
crosswords a little less pleasant. Sorry, what was that you were saying about infection?
I said immediate, like immediate infection,
Immediate infection.
which
Yeah.
I
No,
think
what?
these runners might not be too unhappy about, because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of crossroads is already done, and this
Yeah.
is a way for our runners to get into the transition to fungal wastes.
Yes. Does open up that pogo, which is very nice. Cloak and Claw at Salubra, I am being told. That
Yes.
is a big deal.
Yes, I saw that
Um,
Claw was charm locked, but I didn't see how many.
Nor did I. If anybody in the chat caught that, please let us know. I also see somebody in the chat asking about this being their second match. This is indeed the case. The last match between these two teams, I did pre-race interviews that I like to do, it came down to, I believe, about 10 seconds between the two teams. And as the two top teams in the group, this match is very important to both of them, and I think both teams are going to be fighting with their all to win because it could really decide a lot of their standing in the tournament.
So we have found East Fog Canyon from Homothety, and we see Left City coming out the top of East Fog Canyon. Requires vertical to get there logically, but we don't care too much about logic here.
No.
It's a suggestion, but it's no more than a suggestion.
Yeah. Um,
So far,
yep.
nothing at Nailsmith that we need to worry about.
Yes, I think Volley and Aiden were emphasizing transition checks, kind of as Massa was saying earlier on about how that can just be just as important as getting your items. With that being said, I think that this is an example of how the Mordor's part of this comes into play, because something that was told to me when I was experimenting with the Mordor's rod in preparation for trying to understand this race, was that in shops, because we're not randomizing the key locations of all of the Mordor's keys, shops can get a lot stronger because things just sort of get dumped in there, due to the about 30 extra items that we're introducing into the pool. So it's an interesting way in which the two gimmicks sort of push against each other. But I mean, both of these strategies are obviously very valid from the teams here.
Yes, for sure.
Nice damage boost from Homothety there, and we're going to see Aiden head over to Salubra very soon. We'll get that Cloak and Claw for Team Green. Um, as Homothety heads around Left City, and Palm is now in Deep Nest. Welcome, Palm.
Yeah, not much you can do here, but it's the first Deep Nest we've seen, and we know Claw is at Salubra for charms. So
Yeah,
once
that
we
was a
get
high
that,
number. I think I saw 19.
I thought I saw 20 something. Uh-oh.
Okay, well, either way, it's not looking good. Wow. Well, that is. Who knows whether or not that will be the quote unquote logical claw, but as Masso has rightly said, logic is just a suggestion here. We could end up finding a different vertical much sooner, or we could end up just sort of zooming around until we get 20 charms. I mean, efficiency is definitely in the blood of all four of these runners.
Absolutely. So Palm finding the entrance to the Nailsmith back door by Junk Pit on the waterway side. So this is an interesting thing with map area rando, is that Junk Pit is actually
The shade
far
cloak.
easier
Oh
to
my
get
gosh.
to. Shade Cloak, dive, okay, sure.
Dive. Elevator pass. Oh my gosh. And we're blessed. Truly, Junk Pit was loaded. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. I mean, that is gonna definitely be helpful.
Most definitely.
E-Path,
And Vale is headed right there too.
yeah. No, pretty much no advantage gained from Hamathi and Palm over here in terms of that. But definitely very useful for both teams. I mean, that elevator pass with King Station and an infected crossroads, we're looking at being able to use all the elevators we would want. That dive is indeed a Balder killer, as Palm is demonstrating to us right now. Yeah, definitely opening up more and more of the map very early on. And a
Yeah.
tram pass at a Zelda, I'm being told.
Yes, there was a tram pass to Zelda. Aiden got a very nice Cyclone slash Boulder kill right before the dive came in.
Oh, trendy. Yeah, this seed is truly a mystery, and people have also mentioned in the chat about the dupe sea dash and King's Fragment at Sly. Um, so we definitely are knowing where the progression is in this seed. The thing is that we're not really just, playing to finish. We also happen to be in a blackout tournament in which we have to do a bunch of silly little goals. So who knows what things will ultimately look like.
That is true. And with map area rando, a lot of the time in my experience, I feel like you get movement a little bit earlier, but you also sometimes there are just areas that like to stay away from you. It kind
Oh,
of just like, how do I get here? Crystal Peak can be very hard to access, although I
yeah.
don't think that's necessarily required for this board, unless some of the charm random obtains are there. Kingdom's
Yeah.
Edge can be annoying at times, and
Yeah.
Ancient Basin can be very difficult to get to. So, that tram pass, I think we've already seen Aiden take it to Resting Grounds, which I think is a very smart play, because there's only one randomized transition without any keys that will take you to Resting Grounds. No, I'm sorry. There's still two. The door's on the wrong side. And Vanilla
Is that a
Dream
vanilla dream
Veil.
now?
Yeah,
All right,
Vanilla
are
Dream
you ready,
Veil.
Meso? Dearest Homothety, aka Moth, aka Rando Man, I am writing to inform you of a glaring error in your randomization algorithm for the game Hollow Knight. Though I was assured that the item locations were random and indeed was swayed by your very name, there was not one but two so-called vanilla locations. Please, I implore you, fix your game. We can continue now. Yeah, I think that Resting Ground's definitely a very good heads-up play here, especially with that dive. A lot of checks that are open without a lot of movement, which I think, oh, nice Vengeful Spirit as well. So I think as you've been emphasizing, Maso, it's all about the checks that you can get to, and Resting Grounds is an area that doesn't. Oh, well, High Wings. I was gonna make statements about Vertical, but I guess they're hence unnecessary.
Yeah, apparently, chat pointing out, the other claw is at Seer for 312 essence, and they
Oh
have
my gosh. Well, you know what? It's awesome that we're gonna get to see some really clean, full movement from everybody today. Gonna be going fast for sure.
So the question is, when does Palm Mothity go back to Zelda for that tram pass? Because they don't have it yet.
Right. Yeah, and there's still so much to do. That's kind of the thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, you can go through Green Path. Palm's going through parts of Fog Canyon now. And you just got handed dive and an e-pass. Like I don't think it's going to be interesting to see because it's not the most intuitive thing to chase right now. Um, but we're also early on enough that especially if they start marking goals, Palm and Homophily will be pushed to look for other avenues.
One thing I didn't realize when I said they need to necessarily go back to a Zelda is that I don't exactly remember where the transition that leads to Dirtmouth is, because that's randomized too. So
Oh.
they might not even know where that is.
Oh, that's interesting. If anybody in chat has caught where that transition is, that would be super helpful to know. Um, because yeah, that's definitely quite the important transition. Um, we will have to see. I had this thought and then my thought died. Oh well.
That's honestly sounds like half my thoughts doing commentary. Stagna Staggit Greymortar. I
Oh my
That's one of
goodness.
the few ways to get into Howling Cliffs. So that's not what you want to see if you're
No.
running these.
Right, and also a map area randomized flower quest. Maybe not the most appetizing of prospects. But definitely interesting. Um, we're going to have to see. We've seen a number of different keys so far, but none that have come into particularly obvious play. The ones I know we've seen are Fragile Key. Okay, there's Broken Key. I don't really know what that one leads to. Trader's Key, Isma's Key, and Bardoon Key. Um, but we're not really seeing those doors, so who knows?
We've seen Fragile Key Door, so we might see Leg Eater, especially from
Oh, is
Palm
that where that
Tomafe.
leads? Okay. There's False Key. I assume that's False Knight.
Yes, that does lead to False Knight. Chat saying that Brown Team has Dirtmouth Bench, so they don't need to use a transition to get to a Zelda. Okay, so that means
Interesting.
they already did find said transition.
Okay. That's definitely good. I'm also just noticing at some point that Volley and Aiden got D-Dark. Um, good
Yeah,
for them.
it was in Crypts because dive lock dive go fur.
Gotcha, gotcha. There's an archives key. Just another one to have. Um, I do not think Aiden has. No, Aiden went into Glade, but I don't think he did Refic Pogos because I just think he used movement.
Yeah, no need to do Revic Pogos
Yeah.
except for the goal, and with everything in Resting Grounds, you don't want to give away that you're there quite yet.
No, there's absolutely no need to be marking goals at this point, for Volley and Aiden. I mean, if you don't know, at this point, nobody's marked anything, so you have no idea where Palm and Homophily are at, but there's no point in revealing vertical, when you don't have to, and there's plenty of other stuff to do.
Okay, so our first simple key is at Leg Eater.
Okay.
And with two simple keys and 20 Zotes Eternal Ordeal both being on the board, simple keys are going to be very important.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be the case. Aiden picking up a Dreamgate for himself and Volley, definitely a really nice tool to have. This crazy, crazy randomizer. And yeah, thankfully that simple key in a location that both teams are gonna have access to. Both teams have that fragile key. Um, so definitely quite doable. I wonder where Mothity is going here.
Yeah, Mothity found
Looks like
the transition to Emilicia door, which doesn't do very much good if you don't have Claw.
no. Definitely not too useful yet. Yeah, we are still seeing a lot of checks. I mean, Palm and Hamathity are going around very efficiently with the movement that they have, but unfortunately, I mean, the way that this area map rando works allows you to do a lot of exploring without needing to worry about these goals, and so yeah, we'll see how long it is until vertical is revealed.
Yes, very much so. Because
Oh, there's Monomon.
that Claw and Wings are both in resting grounds. So,
Yep. And here's the tram pass from Homothety.
the transition to Dirtmouth is vanilla. Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, we are playing a rando with Rando Man himself, so what can you expect? There's Mantis Key, which is going to be needed to defeat Mantis Lords. Definitely a good pickup.
Uh,
And
hmm.
yeah, I guess Palm stayed purple. Um, it looks like Palm has made his way into the right side of Kingdom's Edge. Definitely a very useful transition in this way because we already have Tram Pass, which is going to allow us to get around. Oh no! Oh no! Palm C dash too far. It has to go back. I actually did
That's
that. I did exactly that in my own rando. But it is going to be very useful when he gets back there because it lets us tram to Deep Nest and Basin very easily.
okay. These are some expensive items at GG. Shopkeeper's Key,
Expensive keys.
14 rancid eggs. Dreamnail, 4 rancid eggs.
Well,
King Soul, 10 rancid eggs.
yeah, that dream nail, it makes her a very cheap woke nail overall. I mean, we're not going to have any struggle with that, but 10 rancid eggs can be a little bit dicey looking for that third fragment. Palm has made it back to the tram, yippee. Um, Unfortunately, this is not the tram that Brown Team really needs to be taking right now to find that vertical, but hopefully we will see it soon. And I mean, lower tram will definitely let us see a lot of things that we haven't yet.
Yes, lower tram is one of the few ways to get to Basin.
Hmm. There's another simple
Except for the
key.
fact that that
No,
was
that's the
upper
same leg eater
tram.
one.
I have been lied
Wait,
to.
that was upper tram?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was gaslit. Palm was on the right tram. That is very exciting because they're about to find a very fun surprise.
They're about to
All
find a couple
vertical.
very fun surprises, actually.
That you make a very, very good point, Masso. Yes, both Wings and Claw are in resting grounds. Wings at the Stag, Claw at about 300 essence, 310, I believe, which should pose little issue. And we see, I believe, one of the first uses of one of the Mordor's keys, of Ollie heading in here to save that Fog Canyon grub and head into Teacher's Archives.
Chat saying my brain can't keep up. That's honestly very valid. Map area
Yep.
rando is a lot to keep track of. It's
Oh my
part
goodness.
of why it's one of my favorite formats, but it's also very, very hard to keep track of.
Yeah, as somebody who, plays rando very casually, not a racer, mostly just here for, commentary and enjoying this beautiful format and this community, Volley told me, "I'll warn you, these are two of the most intense gimmicks, and they are not for the faint of heart." And he is absolutely right. I think the fact that these four runners are doing this in a race is a testament to both how much experience they have and also how far they all love to push this game.
Very much so.
And here we go from Palm. About to find a fun surprise.
Vale's just bailing out of Umu rather than dying. Honestly, probably the right claw. Not right claw,
Yeah,
right decision. Palm going and buying
it's
a
okay.
bunch of
We all had
essence.
vertical on our minds. Wait, did Palm? Okay, there we go. Took a second. There's wings. Um, so we now have both teams with vertical. And in terms of check difference, it's about a 12 check difference right now, which considering how long the other team has had double vertical is really not too bad. But at the same time, in terms of exploration, it would be so nice to know like how much map each team knows, but I don't have a tracker on it. That would melt my brain.
Yeah, one of these days I should make just a Google spreadsheet with some of the transitions just for commentary purposes. But
Yeah,
that day is not today.
and that is
Tram
a very
Pass,
acceptable thing.
yeah, Tram Pass early makes getting to some of these areas much less annoying, especially Kingdom's Edge. Um,
Yeah. No, it takes out a lot of the mystery that can make this format really frustrating. When you take the tram and you just know the locations you're going to be able to get to, definitely a quality of life improvement when you're trying to go around the map quickly and get all of your goals. Speaking of speed, it seems like Hamathity and Palm are now with the same set of movement that Aiden and Volley have. So we have returned to parity, at least on that front.
so Aiden is in Kingdom's Edge, presumably took lower tram there, and
Yes.
he transitioned to King Station is there, which is another way in if Palm and Hamathity decide to do right city stuff first with that King
Hmm.
Station stag early.
Yes. Um, we've definitely seen some of that from them, but not a ton. I think that notably, Hermophany is going to go and sort of trace what Volley was doing here, this Archives key. Um, Notably, Volley here is heading into Isma's Grove, which we also have a Mordor's key for. Actually showing it off to us right there. Very nice. Um, so this is going to be a new area for us as well.
As far as random obtains go, there are a bunch of charm random obtains on this board.
Yeah.
There's Shape of Unballer Shell, Luke Nest Fury of the
Hmm.
Fallen, and was there one more, or was I just going
Love
crazy
Key.
earlier?
Love Key, definitely an important one. The
The
two
goal is
pale
check
ore
Love
shouldn't be
Key,
a big
not
deal.
obtain.
Oh, I'm a silly Billy. Yeah, the things we actually have to obtain are pale ore and Helena seals, which shouldn't be a huge deal, and then 15 grubs, which I think both teams are actually pretty close to getting at this point. I mean, we've seen Brown Team mark Crossroads Fog Canyon grubs already, and I know that Volley and Aiden are super close to that as
Yeah,
well.
green is at 14 grubs according to their tracker, so they are right there.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries at all. Yeah, Aiden's gonna be doing a lot of Kingdom's Edge here, which, as you stated, Massa is definitely an area that can be hard to get to. Also, an area that can be interesting. We have, oh, there's an E key, which is nice. We have a Bardoon key, which I just think is a hilarious key to have. But we're gonna be zooming back to Sally here for a second.
So, one thing that chat is pointing out, again, that Lore Tablet and Cliffs is on the board with Stagnest at Flower.
Oh,
So,
oh, that's a good point.
so if I'm these runners, I'm thinking, okay, what drop downs that you can't backtrack up can you get to?
Hmm.
And I suppose none of those lead to cliffs. Although I personally think, even just for checking King's Pass faster, it's certainly not bad.
Yeah.
And then there's the drop down into Fungal Core, which we saw from Homophody just a moment ago. That is one way. And there's a check behind that one way. So you need to drop down that for a check.
Yeah.
Also, Brown has all 3 Vanilla Dreamers already.
Yep. And the dupe dreamers at Sally.
Okay.
The seed is definitely not a keeper of secrets when it comes to actual progression. Oh, there's a dash slash for green team as well. We got black egg for brown, and we're 2/3 of the way to NMG for green team.
But I
Yep,
definitely,
Aiden heading over.
I
Okay.
definitely am thinking, okay, how can I get to cliffs? And I'm also keeping in the back of my mind, okay, if I really have to, how do I do Flower Quest?
Yeah.
Because
I
with all this movement, that very well could be required.
yeah. And I think that this is a set of runners who aren't necessarily going to rule that out. You know, some people they would just think, "Oh, I'm just going to go around the map. I'll find cliffs eventually," you know. But like these runners, they've done a few flower quests in their day, for sure, and definitely I think it's something you have to be considering, because you know that the other team is capable as well. And so it's got to be on your mind to some degree.
Yes, the random map mod can create a route between 2 areas without using warps if possible, which is an extremely nice feature for this sort of thing.
Yeah. We also saw the lantern at Oro, which is interesting. Not that these players are going to be particularly worried about the dark, but notable. And unfortunately, Black Egg was Quill. That is a huge rip.
I am not sure if Palm wasted a key on GG. I didn't see. Also,
I'm not sure either.
Quill in Black Egg Temple with 3 early Dreamers is kind of trolly.
Yeah, I mean, that's just genuinely hilarious. I think that this seed was tired of being nice. This seed has entered its hater era. Um, and you know what? We'll have to see whether or not we're here for it. Homophody using another one of those Mordor keys to get out of Deep Nest Hot Springs and be able to head up, which is definitely nice. Where you see Aiden in Water Spire here. Probably going for one of the Dreamer's Death.
Yeah, that would make sense here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Howling Cliffs at this point is the only area that we don't have access to that we're going to need access to for a goal, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that we definitely need access to for sure. There could be like,
Right.
both Fluke Nest and Fury and Crystal Peak, for example, but that's
Absolutely.
it's not likely, but it is possible.
Right, and unlikely but possible is definitely the name of the game when it comes to playing a randomizer. So we will just have to see. Um, but we will see some more Deep Nest from Homophily, which we really haven't seen from Green Team. Um, and some more Waterways from Volley. Definitely an interesting area. We're gonna have to talk to Tuck, so that's good to know.
Yep, going and doing Dung Defender with Descending Dark Shade Soul.
Yeah, not too scary. Oh, did Palm just take the flower?
I think Palm declined out, but Palm is definitely thinking about that
Yeah, I feel
flower
like that was
quest.
almost a yes. Like,
That was a
I,
oh, I might actually need to do this reaction.
yeah, it was definitely, it conveyed an emotion towards the future, to say the least. Um, so we will have to see. It will be really exciting if we do get a flower quest out of this, and honestly, I feel like it would be the seed compensating us for giving everybody really good movement. 20 minutes in.
All right, so we're seeing some Nailsmith cleanup from Aiden here. We
Yep.
saw the first couple nail upgrade checks, but we haven't seen anything else. Spell Twister for 0 notches. Never
Yeah, I
going to
mean,
complain about that.
I don't think anybody would.
And just a Mask Shard at the Nail 4 check, so we don't need that today.
Very nice. We're gonna see Volley heading towards Lostkin, which is on the board. Palm also heading about Basin, maybe going in the same direction soon. We'll have to see. Definitely cleaning up some of these checks first. But yeah, I think that at this point, um, we're looking to, I think we're seeing runners trying to sort of split between, continuing to explore the map, look for those random obtains, and also get some of these goals that are in reach. It's definitely a balance.
Yes, I particularly like the broken broken vessel area play from Vale right now. Getting that key
Yeah,
early and knowing that you need to do that this area anyway for Lostkin. There's a couple checks back here. I think this is a good play.
yeah. Where was that key, by the way?
It was, I think, in Green Path. It was very early.
Okay. Yeah, then I would assume that Palm and Homophily probably also have it, but I couldn't be sure. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, we are neck and neck in terms of checks. We're within 10 checks of each other. Volley and Aiden slightly ahead on goals at this point, but not in a really substantial way. Simply because those goals are not too terrible to complete. So it's continuing to be really close, which is very exciting. And there's Cliffs. Hello. How did you get there, Hermophily?
I'm seeing Monty was just in Deep Nest, so unless
Yeah,
he warped
and that
out,
is, I think it
that's
must have been through Deep Nest. And a QG stag there too.
Oh, that is just rude. Okay, yeah,
That is disturbing.
that's a transition you really want to find that
Yeah.
transition to cliffs then, because you're not getting bailed out by QG stag anywhere.
No, and I think that from what I saw, I wasn't looking at Homothety's screen, and so if somebody in chat has better information, please provide. But from what I saw, I mean, Homothety went far into Deep Nest and was doing a lot of checks that nobody else had touched and ended up via that in cliffs. And
Yeah,
so if this is the case, this is a actually pretty significant advantage for Homothety and Palm here because the DV stacks at 30 grubs. Like you're
yeah.
not you're not going another way.
I believe that it was the transition back up to Spore Shroom from Deep Nest that led here.
Interesting.
Which, yeah, it's kind of out of the way, so
Yeah.
it's one we may not see for a bit from Green.
No, for sure, especially not with like many of the adjacent stags being quite blocked off from us here. Um, it is very interesting. Um, oh, it looks like Green is about to get quilled. That is so unfortunate. You really do hate to see it.
Alright, there's Lost Kin from Vale.
Yeah, we're gonna get to see a lot of these cliff checks from Homothety here. Completely new area we haven't seen before, so who knows what it might bring for us. Um, Definitely going to be interesting to look out for.
So if you're Mothy here, do you get this lore tablet? Do you give away that you have this?
Oh, well, I mean, I think he just did.
You just did, but this is a
But I
thought
don't
exercise.
know.
It's kind of
I
interesting as to whether or not you should do it or not.
I
I think there are
personally
valid arguments for both.
I personally oh, already defeated Gorb, but I personally think that there's a lot of merit to just doing the checks and coming back. I mean, in the end, right? Gorb itself is one check and unlikely to be anything. You're gonna have to do it anyway. And I think that you know as Homophody that you have gone very deep into an area to get to this transition. You've gone quite out of the way. And Green has been marking a lot of goals. So in my mind, personally, I think that it does make sense to not actually do the goals, but I also think it's completely valid to, want to clear out areas, want to be able to be adaptable, do things that your teammate might need from you. So I think that you're absolutely right, Masso. There are arguments for both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other argument in favor of just doing it is that we have had so much movement for so long that
Right.
even marking it, it could still be anywhere.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. And with how fast any of these four can move around the map, I mean, you're not really going to have the same amount of giveaway as you might with people who are, less experienced and don't know their transitions as well.
Shape of Un at the Monomon check, that's a
Well,
random
that's a
thing.
2-for-1.
Yeah, that's true. With two Dreamer checks, that could
Yeah.
be very helpful. And
Uh,
fortunately for Vale Aiden, this will be their first one.
yes, although the second will be quite close behind, which is funny, but I do think it's going to be spaced out enough that it isn't necessarily revealing. But Homophody already having that archives bench, this will be something they absolutely do.
Right, there's our first Howling Wraiths from Kingdom's Edge.
Yep. That QG stag will also be a way in. No, we already have a better way in for check love key, thankfully. Um
Wait,
Wait,
do
do
we?
we? Where's the transition? No, we don't. Never mind. I
Yeah, it's
forgot where the transition was, because I consider the QGA room to be QG, but then it's not. It's Fog Canyon.
yeah, it's Fog
So
Canyon.
I deluded myself. Yeah, but in the worst case scenario, if you're not finding your stuff, having a QG stag isn't half bad for that either.
Oh, it's not bad at all. And from QG Stag, you don't need any of the Mordor's keys to get to Love Keep.
Oh, that is also very notable. Do you need one going the other way?
You need one going from the normal entrance. There's Garden's Key, which I don't think we've seen.
No, we have not. And that is notable then. That's just another advantage of that QG stag that Hamathiti has found. He is now going down to do Mantis Lords, which we haven't seen, I believe.
Yeah, we haven't seen it
Um,
yet. It's a goal on the board. Might as well do it.
yeah, also opens the transition into Deep Nest, if I'm correct. Um,
That is indeed
Gives us
correct.
some checks. So definitely not too shabby. Um, Looks like Aiden and Palm both heading up Edge. Just a vessel fragment behind that Bardoon key, very silly. Um, we got some goals up here, particularly we got the goal of slashing the Kalo NPC. Oh, hi, hi, QG. There's that QG entrance that we were talking about that does need a key. Um, that is definitely notable, going out of the left of the tall edge room.
Normally goes to Tower of Love.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because if I were in their shoes, like I don't know if Palm already had a Dream Gate down, or if Palm has even checked
Mm.
it yet.
No, Palm's
But
about to go see it right now.
okay, because going that transition without the key, you have a transition up and you have a check that you haven't seen either of those yet. So I would
Very
just
good
want
point.
to get the check, peek the transition, and hopefully that transition is nothing and you just peace out.
Yeah, and that. Well, Palm definitely goes in and gets the check, but I don't think we're going to see him peeking at that transition. I'm already finding another part of QG through the Mantis Lord's entrance. Looks like the part going up from Deep Nest, I think. Um,
Okay, yeah, there's a simple key at the Willow Rancid Egg. I forgot what that NPC was called for a moment. Also, Fury of the Fallen at
yeah.
Kahlo 2, by the way.
Fury of the Fallen at Kahlo 2. That's what I'm talking about. Compensation for the flower quest. Bungle Key at Kahlo 1. Wonderful. Here's some divine checks. I don't think we've seen those so far because, yeah, no way we've seen them because Light the Grim Lantern has only happened on Hamathiti's end.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised even if it hadn't happened only on Mothy's end because Vale is definitely a hater of Divine.
yes,
So
this I do remember. Um, and Hamathiti is going to endure those divine noises to get Great Slash, which is an NMG check.
also, Fungal Key being at Kala 1 is very interesting, given that we haven't seen any way to write Fungal thus far.
That is a really good point. Yeah, it is certainly true. Um, we are going to see Volley head into Deep Nest here, which will put him on the right track to eventually find Cliffs. But it will take some resolve to stick with it because Moffat was going for quite a long time.
So, as for getting the right fungal, because we need to do that for a potential GPZ seed.
This is true.
And I could see a lot of chat hoping for GPZ. So we would need right
Yes.
fungal for that to get to Bretta. There are 2 left transitions that can get you there, and there is, of course, fungal key.
Yep.
Yeah, those are the only ways into right fungal with these gimmicks.
Wow.
I did not
That is some
realize that before
gatekeeping.
this, but yeah, it's Grimchild
Grimchild at
NMG.
NMG. That's a fun experience for friends and family. Wow. Yeah, that is going to be very notable. We're going to see Aiden heading for Love Key here. Um, able to get in through one of those other 2G entrances. But yeah, that does make lighting the lantern required for Grimchild. That is a really funny observation from chat.
Yep. And this is why you check Divine, because you never
This
know.
is why you check Divine. The noises she makes are really gross, but sometimes she has progression. And there is Cliffs from Volley. So he has gotten there. We will not be seeing a flower quest, but we can still root for other spice.
There is still the potential for spice this seed.
Oh, most certainly. Yeah, and we've actually seen Brown Team pull ahead on locations checked here, which I just think is an interesting thing to observe. I've had some back and forth, but I also just think that um, Hermophides' finding of Deep Nest and Cliffs just opened up a whole lot of different checks that he was able to progress through. So just an interesting note. Um, also interesting to note how many grubs both teams are continuing to save. Can be very nice for that DV stag down the line if that is something that they end up being interested in.
Yeah, they very well could need that, because the only other way there for Midwife is Village Key. So you're either
That
getting
would make sense.
30 grubs or a one-off random obtained that who knows where it is.
Exactly. Yeah, that is a really good point. When you put it that way, saving 30 grubs and, having a good time with some cute little grubbies doesn't sound so terrible.
So Hermophody is doing Umu right now. We'll find that Shape of Unbalder shell.
Yep.
Tom is doing Crystal Peak, which I don't think we've... Wait, I feel like we've seen a little bit of this from Vale Aiden, but I don't think we've seen a full clear.
Yeah, definitely not a full clear. I think we've seen maybe the first few rooms, like up to the dark bench, but I don't think we've seen a relatively thorough clear of peak. I mean, as we've mentioned, like this is just not an area with a lot of goals on the board. But it is an area with a decent number of checks, and we've picked up a variety of the keys needed to progress through here. Oh, there's Village Key, Masso.
Yeah,
Say it and it shall be. Yep, Volley gonna be
Vale.
lighting this lantern. We'll
Yeah,
see if he puts himself through Divine.
yeah. I'm sure much to his own distaste.
I'm sure as well. Yep, there's that Shape of Unmark um, from Homophily, one of their two Dreamers checks as well. Um,
Yeah, it seems to me like Mothi and Palm are saving their other Dreamer check for Hera, which
yeah,
I think makes a lot of sense here. You know, you've got
I
basically
think so
full
too.
movement. You have basically there's no rando obtains that they have anymore that
Right.
you don't have.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you're going to be going to Distant Village anyway for the midwife goal.
Yeah, I
So,
think very similarly on this.
also, we found Right
Watcher Knights.
Fumble from Vale. I did not see where that
Oh,
was from.
I did not either, but that is big.
I think,
Um,
was that Howling Cliff's exit? The
it
exit
may
to
have been, yeah.
the exit to Green Path.
Exit to Green Path. Okay. So that is quite notable. And yeah, I really agree with you on the two Dreamers thing, especially like you've seen the board, you know they haven't marked anything um particularly crazy. I mean the main obtain that you are looking for here is Fluke's Fury, and you know Fury's at Kahlo. So yeah, I think waiting for Hera just makes plenty of sense. Um yeah, we'll see Palm using that heart key, and yeah, Aiden is gonna head up more into peak here, kind of trailing Palm in clearing that out as well he heads in to do Mantis Lords. There's a King's Brand. That's interesting.
That is indeed interesting. Okay, is it actually faster to do the Sea Ash Gauntlet this way?
Yeah, I was kind of
I feel
wondering.
like there's no way that this is actually faster, but who knows? Okay, there's
I don't
definitely no
know.
it's faster to go up here first and then backtrack back down to Crystal Heart, right? Surely it's not faster.
Yeah, but maybe it's just like the emotional damage of being really off cycle. I am so unsure. With this being said, all this talking that we're doing about Hera, I think we're gonna see Watcher Knights from Homophily right now.
Yeah, I mean, there is still that Void Heart out there. So, oh, Fluke Nest and Crystal Peak.
No, we know where Voidheart is because of Gigi.
Well, we know where one of the Void Hearts is.
That's true. That's
We
true.
don't know where the other one is.
Flukes in peak, you really do hate to see it, honestly. We could have had nice things. We could have had fun things. And instead we had flukes in peak.
So let's see. Let's take stock, see what do our runners need for go mode right now.
Yeah, because we're getting there.
So we need to get a white fragment from somewhere, either from Gigi or from somewhere else.
Yep. And we need to get to Deep Nest to talk to Midwife. But now we both have Village Key.
We both teams have Village Key and Deep Nest access. And Nest Key was at King Station Stag, so they both should have that. Both teams have plenty of simple keys.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think you start pushing some of these areas that have goals, especially if you're on Homophily right now. Just go do Lost Kin.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think that you aren't you've been ahead on checks, but you're also a little bit behind on some of these goals, few of which take a long time, but all of which you have to do. And so I think just like going and doing them is definitely important. because you're going to be 100% in go mode soon, even if you're not entirely there now. And that's 10 rancid eggs, so they have enough for Void Heart, I believe.
Yes, and I think Aiden is going and picking up Void Heart right now.
Yep. And I think Volley's going to be heading for Midwife. Yeah, I'm wondering why Hamathity and Palm are still doing all these checks. What are they looking for?
That is a good question. I don't know why they're doing all these checks.
I'm not quite sure either.
Like, you have enough Paylor for Nail 2, which
Yep.
is basically the one thing you still need. Do they not have enough charm notches or cheap enough charms for 5 charms at the same time?
I mean, they have the zero. Do they have the zero notch spell twister? No, because they haven't checked that far into Nailsmith. Um, I guess that's a possibility. I think we've seen. I know I've seen a one notch Dream Nail, we Dream Wielder. I know we've seen a one notch Grim Child, a two notch Fragile Heart. Like I really don't think that would be an issue, but
I think
there's
Defender's
potential.
Crest also cost 1.
Yes, I think you're
There's
correct.
there's no Mordor's keys in between QG Stag and Love Key. Also, is that their 6th Hollowness seal? Or is that their 5th or 4th? I couldn't tell.
I don't entirely know. I couldn't see it either.
Chat saying they think it was 4?
Wait,
Okay.
why is Vale fighting Nosk?
Okay, that's a really good question.
Oh, for the Paylor check. It's for the Paylor check. I got it.
Ah,
I thought it through.
Yep, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I mean, that isn't what I would do, but wait, what
I
are...
feel like this is a routing mistake, but I also think it makes sense. I personally think just have Aiden go do Hollowness Crown here.
Yeah, it doesn't... It's definitely not like a blunder or anything, but it did definitely catch me off guard. Okay, we're gonna see Hamathity heading for Midwife here, I'm pretty sure. And Palm heading for Love Key. So this is a good sign. This is what we want to see from Brown Team here.
Pale Lurker is a simple key in vanilla. To answer chat's question.
Yeah, now why are we doing Pale Lurker is another great question that I also have.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit confluzzled, I'm gonna be real. Okay, there's Midwife from Hamathity. So Yahoo. Find the dupe Monarch Wings from Palm. You love to see it. Okay.
If Aiden hasn't done CG2, they could still be missing Village Key. There's no Mordor's
No, but
Key.
Aiden has done it. Aiden did CG2.
Aiden did do CG2? Okay, yeah, and I
yeah,
see it being on the map as out of logic.
Yeah, I don't know. But I am pretty sure I saw Aiden do CG2, unless I was, like, hallucinating. Is there a key guarding Tuck? That's true. I mean, do you need Dung Defender to talk to Tuck? Is that entirely necessary?
You do not, no.
Yeah, okay, I didn't think so. So, overall... Oh, are they short on Egu?
No, they have plenty of eggs. They had 12
I feel like I'm
when
playing
Brown had 10.
a guessing game where all the answers are wrong. This is very confusing.
I
Okay,
wonder
Palm is
if
heading to God
Aiden
Home.
wasn't sure how to get to. I wonder if Aiden was thinking about doing 20 Zotes, because that's a long goal.
Right, that is
But
quite long, and neither team has done it.
but they don't have jump key. So they need to go through the other transition, the Nailsmith backdoor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Overall, these runners definitely keeping us on our toes. Sometimes in ways we don't always understand, but we are getting there. Now we see Aiden is heading for 20 Zotes. Okay, that's that. Um, Palm is heading for. Wait there. What?
Talk to Tuck is on the board.
Yeah, okay, probably going to talk to Tuck. I guess doesn't have that bench. Okay. Aiden entering God Home. Hermophody presumably also going for that.
Moffety's going and getting Nail 2 check. This makes sense.
Yep.
And they'll have the Geo for that zero notch spell twister if they need it, which is nice.
Yeah, for sure. There's Midway from Volley. Wait, why are we fighting Dung Defender?
Okay, I have no idea why we're fighting Dog Defender.
I'm
What is
s
going on?
Is there a secret? Is there a secret set of extra goals that we don't know about? Because they have,
Hmm. Chat pointing
like,
out maybe they don't realize they have broken key. That's very possible.
oh,
Because you do
that
need
is
that lost
possible.
key.
That is genuinely quite possible. Um, and if that is the case, it's quite unfortunate. Um, because Aiden is going for these Zotes, and I don't think it's gonna take particularly long for them to talk to Tuck. I mean, Volley did mention before the race that he feels like he and Aiden do have more experience with Mordors, than the other two, and so they just may have a better read on what keys are what and what you need for things, but it is surprising to me. Okay, so that was five. That was five Hellenist seals. Yeah, okay. So they were looking for the fifth seal, I think. Um, but at the same time, I unfortunately think that this is probably gonna be GG for Green Team. Um, because Aiden is almost done with these Zotes, and Volley's gonna fight Radiance.
Yeah, chat pointing out that Brown still has an unbought seal in shops.
Oh no.
So,
I'm definitely gonna want to ask about this in the interview for both
yeah,
teams. I'm curious to hear, like, if you're these runners, when do you assess yourselves as in go mode, and what does that mean? Like, what did that mean in the context of this race? Because I think that was kind of the knowledge that we were missing as commentators for this little segment. Yeah, I think they forgot Homophody. They had broken key. Checks out. Well, Homophody will challenge the Eternal Ordeal, which will be very fun to see. Um, but yeah, this looks like it will be a hard-fought and close but clean victory for the green team.
also not sure why that I'm not sure why Palm and Mothi aren't just picking up. Oh, maybe they don't have a simple key for it. Maybe Palm doesn't have a simple key for it. That would make sense. To
Yeah,
check GG and get that Void Heart. Because they are running out of
right.
time, and they should know
For
that.
the tiebreaker point, yeah. Um, People are saying I think they're looking for eggs, so maybe they are short. Um, we'll have to ask. It's always very difficult to read all of the trackers, but yeah, they both open GG, so I'm not entirely sure. I think there's a decent chance that Hamathity does get 20 Zotes, but it's kind of up in the air because the Eternal Ordeal could take a lot of time. Um, but yeah, definitely very well played by both teams. It is kind of interesting to see how many more locations that Palm and Homophily ended up checking in comparison because of all of this struggle. I'm gonna check those keys and notice the broken key and do a little jump. Yeah,
Yeah,
that feels bad, probably.
yeah, that's gotta be frustrating.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see. Homophily will kill the 20th Zote, though, so they will at least have that goal marked off. Um,
Yep.
let's see if he makes a run for GG here for that Void Heart.
Yeah, Vale has GG in the chat, by the way.
Okay. Yep, he's gonna have enough time. Oh, not going down to GG. Okay. Oh, heading for Black Egg. That makes sense.
I mean, Black Egg isn't a tiebreaker point.
Wait. Wait, no, it doesn't make sense. Why doesn't he have Void Heart?
And there's the GGs for Aiden.
Okay. So we are done. I was told by all of the runners beforehand that they'd be interested in an interview. Um, but we will check to see if that is still the case, and we will welcome them on in for some wonderful questions.
Yeah, I looked at the spoiler log. The dupe white fragment was in White Palace.
Brutal. Very brutal. We'll have the runners in soon. Please feel free to ask questions in the chat if you'd like us to relay questions to them.
GG.
GG's, everybody.
GGs.
uh, this whole race came down to the fact when we realized Aiden didn't have Crown Key and they got their second payload at Dusk. That just broke everything for us.
We got our second pillar crown key.
Oh, well, then they're done by me.
Oh, did
We
you think they got it at Nosk?
I assumed so because we didn't have the Crown Key.
we had go mode for like a generation, by the way. We just didn't
Oh,
realize.
Crown Key was behind the bloody body Geo Key. Wow, atrocious.
Yeah. I went to Crown to do the PLR check, and then I hit my face into a door, and then that made Valedu Nosk, and that made Valedu to Tramway, which is where the buried GOK was.
How many growths
Yeah.
did you have? Because we were saving for that DV stack until we got the village key.
No, we didn't. We stopped around 18. I told them we had a very good odds of finding the transition, and it was where I expected it to be, actually. So
Trackers both say that you have the
Wow.
same number of grubs at 21.
Yeah, so we got a
Nice.
few more, I guess.
Yeah. So what was the thing you thought you were missing, but you had it?
Broken key.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's on me because I was the one who picked it up in
Yeah.
Green Path, but
Yeah.
I forgot. I forgot.
Yeah. Also, another random question I have: did you have any of Shaman Strength Quick
No.
Slash?
We had Quick Slash. Was that at Chia?
We didn't find it.
It was a
Let me
Chio,
Yeah.
yes.
It was
It
4
was at Chio.
nudges, so it was not especially useful, but I did have it equipped.
Strength at
Yeah.
White Palace right and behind Shopkey. And Shaman at No Eyes. And it was not happening.
Yeah,
in
this
Grimlock.
was a very disappointing card because it just let the seed end very quickly.
Yeah.
Like 220 checks in Mordor's is like ridiculously low. So this was a very fast race.
At least it gave us a very content Eternal Ordeal and Radiance with that underpowered damage.
Also,
true.
Yeah.
chat asking, Brown, did you forget about the white fragment at
Yeah.
GG?
Yeah,
We
we did
forgot the
forget
white
about.
fragment, and we forgot that we had broken key. Like, we were in
I
go
mean,
mode for half an hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there also still a Hollowness seal in shops? Or had you bought that already?
Probably.
Oh, there's like 50 in
Probably,
shops.
but
Yeah,
we didn't care about that.
Yeah, that
because
don't
we
really
didn't
matter.
we didn't expect
Gotcha.
them to finish
So you were
before
Yeah.
we found the last
Yeah.
one.
We literally, I mean,
Yeah, I
we got
think that-
29 out of 31, right? And the 2 goals we didn't do, we could have done for an hour, and we didn't realize.
Oh,
I think that kind of just goes to show just how hard these gimmicks are.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's
Because
just
you are having to keep track of so much.
yeah, it's just so much to remember. Yeah.
I think, like, in all of our practice seeds, that doesn't happen. I think I was way too stressed for this, and it just, yeah. I think it's more
This
race
felt
nerves than
better.
anything.
I was playing
Well, I
Monks
mean, we
and
were
Races as
all-
well, for sure.
I was
Goes to
very
show we need
nervous,
to
especially at
schedule
the
at
end.
6 a.m. in the future. All races.
We were
because
all
these,
definitely amazed by
these afternoon races, Palm and I were talking about this earlier, are very rough because you spend the whole day thinking, I have a race this afternoon. Like even if it's not that important, you think, you sort of can't help but think about it. Whereas if you just wake up and immediately rando, there's no build up.
Hey, let me tell you, it's 9 p.m. for us right now. So we have the disadvantage on that one. I think I
That's
played like
true.
6 hours
That's
of Hollow
true.
Knight today.
Oh my gosh.
No, I think if we just read our tracker log, like, we win this, right? I'm pretty sure we had go mode first, and I'm pretty sure we were ahead on doing things. Like, I don't have to check all of Waterways. I can
Yeah,
just
you
do
were-
Lostkin, you know?
You were definitely ahead on the
Yeah.
annoying key department. Yeah, most annoying part
Master
of
and
the
I
seed
were-
was. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
Oh no, I just wanted to say that the experience as commentators was Master and I had this discussion about, like, at what point are you in go mode? And we go through all the different things and we're like, yeah, I mean, both teams are pretty much in go mode. And then we watched like neither team be in go mode for a slight amount of time.
Yeah.
And then eventually Green Team went into go mode and finished it out. But it was quite close, and I mean, it was really wonderful to watch.
I mean, we completely trolled. This was like the worst race I've played all tournament by far. It's really dumb. Yeah, it feels
Okay,
bad.
that's okay. Well, congratulations to Val and Adam.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys played well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah. Also,
You
what I
won.
wanted to
Congratulations.
fun part of the seed was the first time we found right side fungal was me going to the top of Kingdom's Edge and finding it from behind the Bratador. So after careful thinking, we decided that I'm gonna go from Isma's Grove to the left of Waterways to open the bloody lever. And by the time I get to the bloody lever, I find the other entrance to Funga.
Oh my gosh.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
you didn't read it was from Cliffs. Uh,
We found cliffs
then
already.
again, I
Like,
wasn't looking at the board, so
to do cliffs, you had to do like the deepness shortcut up. I don't know how
yeah,
you
yeah.
enter deepness. We never found the deepness drop. So the way we
Oh,
entered
I got
deepness was from Fungal Core.
yeah, I entered deepness from the sports room drop, which led to super secret.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hamapi did that rather early.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the early Neski, so I really liked early light deepness of seed. Plus, I actually had that transition in mind as a potential Hello Cliffs transition. That's actually why I was like routing towards that last, as I was really hoping it would take me to Cliffs, and it did.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
I have one more question to the people who watched the race. Did you enjoy the very short-lasting false hope of Fury at Colo 2 and Stagnest at Flower Quest?
True.
This seed was
Oh,
a
it was so
tease.
sad.
Yeah,
It was
we
so
discussed
sad.
I
we
was
discussed doing that for the Palar goal, Palar
yeah,
checks.
I was saying that if Sagnest ends up being required, then Maso deserves a raise after this.
We have one final very important question from Serpin in chat, asking if you wear shoes indoors.
Yes.
No.
Sometimes.
There's no more answers left for me. Okay.
This is very insightful. Thank you.
These are the truly burning questions that we ask here on Hollow Knight Community.
Oh, absolutely.
You know how good the race is when the only question from chat is about shoes.
Though there were also several other questions from chat. We asked them.
Yeah, just kidding. Don't worry.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for a really wonderful race today, even if the seed was kind of wacky. I know that for myself and Maso, it was an immense treat to watch all of you play, and for chat as well. I think everybody really enjoyed this race. So I wish all of you the best of luck in all of your future matches. And yeah, if there's anything else you'd like to say before we sign off, now would be the time.
Yeah, our next match is in about 46 hours. Celery and Emo versus Rhea and Sleepy Alex. So hopefully we will see you then.
And thank you to our wonderful restreamer, Chris, for making this broadcast possible and doing all of the fancy stream things to make this gorgeous and wonderful to watch.